Thank you for joining. And I once again want to say it is a pleasure to always be a part of this very conversation. So today I want to talk about women empowerment, feminism, and its destruction, a misguided evolution. What do I mean? This is not an attack on women. This is a conscious critique of ideologies that started noble but got hijacked by culture, politics, and pride. Real empowerment uplifts both women and men. It doesn't destroy one to elevate the other. So, when we get to hear about women empowerment, what comes to our minds? Because it is crucial, especially in our current generation, to build something that is so substantial so that now we can structure something that is going to build the lives of both genders. What do I mean? The system has created certain ways that it wants the majority to believe in it. But at the end of the day, it has constructed certain ideologies that always make people to lose the essence of the matter. So what do I mean? Women empowerment has become something that has taken away the real meaning of it. And that is why the man of today feels like he can no longer belong in this kind of life. And that is why we get to see issues like gender-based violence and all that. We get to see issues like today men are willing to go far and beyond to do whatever they can do. I'm not trying to negate the fact that back in the days we had the gender-based violence. Yes, we did have all those things. And the women back in the days were silenced not to speak about this. I'm not against that. But I want us to understand the real meaning, because all that we've been told about women empowerment has become something that has lost its meaning. And today what we are seeing, especially with our women and our men, it's contradicting. And for sure, we need to make it possible that we get to understand this reality. So, what do we mean by it? I want to go to point number one so that now we can build something that is so beautiful here. Number one, feminism was never just about equality, it became about superiority. So, what do we mean when we talk about this very point? Feminism was never just about equality, it became about, it was about superiority. What do we mean by that? It is important to understand that the issue of feminism, basically the early feminist movement, sought equal opportunities. That is what it did. Education, voting rights, fair treatment, and modern feminism, what we can see, fights for a different thing. Often teaches about superiority, painting men as oppressive by nature and masculinity as toxic. And that is why we will see women in the streets demonstrating, trying to fight the man, trying to show that the man can no longer become. But the question is this: can we get to fight the issues that are affecting the man and the woman by allowing the woman to be superior over the man, the woman being superior over the man? No, it can never be like that. Because any other time when we talk about feminism, many women tend to think that it is a path to take so that the man can know that even the woman can do what the man does. We are not against that. But whatever a man did, already another man did it. Even better. So what am I trying to say? The woman can do it. But at the end of the day, you have to understand, as much as you can do it, it is not a factor to make women feel like they are powerful and like they can hate on men, they can devalue the abilities and the positions of men. And that is why the women empowerment has lost its meaning, especially in this century, because the woman of today tends to feel and tends to see that, I'm a woman and I deserve better. And by her deserving better, it's about allowing herself to lose the essence of the matter. And that is why the woman of today, a bigger percentage, has lost its morals. And the woman of today, most of them, You can tell the way they're behaving, the way they're doing things. You cannot even explain. What do I mean? I'm going to share a little bit of even some few scriptures to bring the empowerment that we need. Because I got a scripture in the book of Galatians chapter 3 verse 28, and I saw something. There is neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. What does that mean? When it comes to empowerment, it is the systems of this world that want us to believe that there's a big difference between men and women. And in that reality, we can come to understand that being different does not change its course and all that. It's all about realizing that we are one and we can build something that is so beautiful. So we can see in this verse that there's neither male nor female. So it is important for us to understand that we can all come a part of growth if we are willing to build something and structure ourselves in the way that it should be. But systems want us to lose our way so that we can focus on what it has created. And that is why women empowerment today, it is something that has made many women lose their lives. Because now the man has been cornered, and the only thing that he can do is to make sure that the woman can feel the pain of her trying to be superior over the man. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm not advocating for any kind of gender-based violence. I'm not advocating for any kind of issue that can come against the woman. My point is, we need to be a people that are willing and ready to build a structure that is going to allow the man to be also included in the idea of empowerment. And also the woman can understand that it is not about superiority. It is about education, basically voting rights, things like that, fair treatment and all that. That is what is required. What do I mean? God's design was never a power battle. It was complementary purpose, not competition. But what do we see today? There is competition. The woman wants to focus on her things so that he can prove to the man that this is how it is. Today on a certain social platform, I just saw a woman who has posted a photo on one of the graves, and he was standing on that grave of the late husband. And this woman the caption for that very photo was like, you know what, I'm so happy that you've died. That is what happened, that you've been unalived and all that. And I'm so happy and I'm proud for that, because you didn't deserve to be the father of my children. That is what the woman said. And many comments were sent there by different women saying that it was beautiful for that to happen. What do I mean? It is important for us to come into realization that, women empowerment is not a superiority idea over the man. It is a humility that should come from within, from the woman, to structure something that is fundamental so that something can be built. So let me go to point number 2. The strong independent, in quotes, the strong independent, in quote, lie is causing emotional collapse. I repeat, the strong independent, in quotes, lie is causing emotional collapse. So what do we mean? The phrase, I don't need a man. Have you ever heard of that? I don't need a man. Sounds like strength, because many women, when they speak about I don't need a man, most of them want to feel like they're strong. They want people to see them like they're strong. But in practice, it's left many exhausted, anxious, and unfulfilled. Is it a must that you get married? No, it is not a must you get married. Is it a must that you have a boyfriend? No, it is not a must you have a boyfriend. But remember, when it comes to empowerment, the idea of I don't need a man should not come out of your mouth. It should be a way of expressing the truth as to why you don't need a man. And the point here is very clear, that women empowerment is not about superiority over the man. It is about realizing the needs that should be focused on, like education, equal rights, like fair treatment and all that. But you have to remember, the idea of gender equality, it is not a reality of the matter, because there are things as a man I will do that a woman cannot do. So what do I mean? It is very important for us to structure ourselves in the idea of principles that have value. So once again, what do I mean? God never designed humanity to thrive in isolation or rebellion against partnership. So it is important for women to realize that you need a man at the end of the day. So the idea of God is that we can all partner. We can all become a people that will create systems whereby will bring growth to not only to this generation, but to the coming generation and many other generations. And that is why I decided to come with this very conversation, so that people can be able to understand the true meaning of women empowerment, especially the woman of today. You need to realize it is not about you being above the man in a way that you're going to insult his ego, insult his abilities to become. It is all about realizing that as a woman, I am empowered to support the man, to ensure that also the man, him being my husband, my brother, him being my son, I can also build something that is substantial for them. So in the book of Genesis chapter 2 verse 18, it is not good for the man to be alone. You see, the word man has no gender. The word man has no gender. It means you and me, male and female. That is what it means. It has no gender. So it is not good for a man. It is not good for you nor me to be alone. But many people tend to think they can be alone. It is not good, because you cannot function by yourself. You need people around you, whether it is a woman, whether it is a man. So when we talk about strong and independent women, I think it is a reality that is based on fiction stories, whereby people tend to think that that is the truth of the matter. But in due course, that very thing is going to eat our generation. Because what do we see today? Single mothers who are independent and they think that is a strength. What am I trying to say? Is it bad to be a single mother? No. There are single mothers that are beautiful in their own ways. I'm not talking about physical beauty as much as it is there. I'm talking about a beauty that comes from within. That they are single mothers because of certain situations. But now what do we mean? The same applies to women. Strength isn't in doing everything alone. It is in knowing who to walk with. It is in knowing who to walk with. So that is the importance of women empowerment. That is the truth about it. But they don't want you to know. They want to support certain ideas so that they can suppress the ideas of the man. Number 3, empowerment without accountability is dangerous. Empowerment without accountability is dangerous. So what do we mean? Modern culture empowers women to be sexually free, emotionally distant, and career focused, but without accountability. That is what is happening. And that is why we can see many female celebrities, they don't care about how it goes in their lives. And that is why most of them, you'll find them getting married early and leaving those men like trash and letting them go and insulting them all over. That is what is happening in our generation today. And it has also happened, but today it is being spoken about. And that is why today I'm speaking like this, because it is important for our women to recognize the true meaning of women empowerment. So modern culture has empowered women to be sexually free. That is why today women don't care about sleeping with whatever men. And that is why the other day I just sat down and I saw that there's this lady who doesn't care. And she feels like, you know what, I just had a good sex and I'm done and I'm okay with it. And I'm going to leave, I'm going to let go. But the truth of the matter is, people are not willing to build nor structure something that is fundamental. People are just in the idea of crushing one another, so that now people can lose their identity about what it means in this life. So modern culture empowers women to be sexually free, emotionally distant. Nowadays, women don't share their emotions. They don't speak it. What do? They crush the man, and they want to make sure that the man doesn't rise up. And what other thing? And career focused. That is what the woman of today is doing. She's career focused, but without accountability. Is it bad to be career focused? No, it is good. It is beautiful. It is awesome. But at the end of the day, the woman of today should understand and should be reasonable that it is not about losing accountability. So men are often held accountable for their failures, but women get applauded for the same. That is what is happening. When a woman shakes her body on social platforms, people will celebrate. Oh, we love what we are seeing. But that is just a beautiful woman with a beautiful woman with a beautiful body, without a head that can think right, because you're doing things that are not right, based on, basically, for those that are in Africa, based on African cultures and all that. You want to do things because the Western culture has manipulated you and influenced you to do such kind of things. So it is important. Let me give an example. A man who abandons his kids is shamed. That is what happens. A woman who does it is often called a boss, reclaiming her life. That is what is happening in our society. So a man who says that, this man abandons his family or his children, that man will be condemned for the rest of his life. But a woman who does the same will be applauded. It was good. Whatever you did, it was awesome and all that. And that is what is happening in our generation. That's not equality. That's ideological manipulation. That is what is happening. It is not equality. A woman also needs to have substance, to be truthful and intentional, to build something that is long lasting. So let us go to point number 4. Feminism destroyed femininity. Feminism destroyed femininity. What do I mean? In chasing power, many women were taught to hate their the feminine nature, nurturing vulnerability, motherhood, softness. Instead, they imitate men, harder, detached, aggressive. That is what they do. So feminism destroyed femininity. So the woman of today, she's not feminine. She wants to be aggressive. She wants to be tough. She wants to look like a man because of the things she's doing. But the truth of the matter is, you cannot be all those things if you're not willing to build something that is, that is very positive, especially in your family, especially at your workplace, especially with the people that are surrounding you. So what do I mean? Many women were taught to hate their feminine nature. You hate yourself. You begin desiring and adapting into a nature that is of the man. And that is why the woman of today, even most of them who are married, you'll find that they are not willing even to be feminine, to be girly in their marriage. They just want to do things because the man is doing it. So feminism told women to be everything but women. Feminism told women to be everything but women. That is what happens. So what do I mean? Proverbs 31:26. She opens her mouth in wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. So this kind of a woman that is so feminine, she opens her mouth, you see, in wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. That is what she does. So biblical femininity is not weakness, it is divine strategy. But the world and the systems of this world has taught our women that you don't need femininity. You need to be, you need feminism. Whereby now it loses the ability, it loses the truth of becoming. And that is why many people have defaulted and many people cannot really have something that is substantial. Point number 5. It dismantled the family structure. Feminism, women empowerment, feminism and its destruction. What did it do? It dismantled the family structure. What do I mean? Radical feminism celebrated single motherhood, discouraged marriage, and labeled family life as a prison. Result? Broken homes, emotional unstable children, absent fathers, bitter mothers. That is what is happening in our society. Am I talking to you? Am I saying something? Am I really reading your mind, and am I bringing something that is substantial? Because this is what is happening in our society. We can see broken homes, emotional unstable children. Why? Because of absent fathers. and present mothers who are not accountable, who are always insulting the strength and the ability of the man, and bitter mothers who are not willing to capture the reality of what it takes to be in a relationship. Let us go to point number 6. It turned men into enemies. What do I mean? It turned men into enemies. Instead of partnership, feminism reframed men as the problem, leading to widespread gender resentment. But you can't build society while dismissing half of it. The generation of today, the woman of today, disregarding the ability